Put on your tinfoil hats, everyone. No, I actually have a lot of questions about this one. BlackRock, maybe you've heard of them, possibly.
If you haven't, you've not watched any conspiracy
under
theory
a rock.
YouTubes.
You gotta catch up, son. BlackRock to handle Circle's USDC cash reserves as part of a $400 million funding round. Now, we talked about this a little bit. I'll admit I'm not super well versed in this, but I think I understand the gist of it now. But it's interesting because usually with crypto, you're thinking it's this new currency that's out there in the world, but this is actually tying it to real world cash.
It's this decentralized thing. That's the beauty of it. It's out there, magical. Nobody can track you. Nobody can see. All of those are all big misconceptions, right? I mean, yes, there are things that are decentralized about it, but there's also, anytime there's a place to make money, there's people that are going to start making rules around that money. And I think BlackRock is one of those big ones that like to make rules.
Yep. So for those of you who don't know, USDC is USD coin. It was created by Coinbase, and it is one for one tethered to the dollar. It's a stable coin. And so anytime that you transfer in and out of Bitcoin or something, you could transfer into a stable coin a lot faster versus going to actual US dollar that can take like 3 days. USDC, you can go in and out in a matter of seconds. And you could even trade back and forth without necessarily being taxed because you're not actually pulling it out into US dollars. But since they're one for the dollar, you got to have enough in the reserves to solidify the fact that that's truly $1 backing it up. And USDC has actually done a lot better than USDT. Tether has created their own stable coin, and they did it years ago, and they were the first ones that did it, and it was awesome for the whole market, because before that you had to trade in different denominations of Satoshis, so you'd have to calculate all these denominations of your Bitcoin and Satoshis, figure out what it is in Ethereum, and figure out what it is in Tron coin and this coin and that coin, and it was super hard to calculate how much you were even going to make or how much the coin was worth. When they came out with stable coins, it made it so much nicer. It was awesome. It revolutionized it for me, because I was like calculating like crazy, and you lose out some money because you didn't calculate fast enough, or
and when you get these numbers that don't make sense in the US, we live in the US, so we go by the US currency, and when you've got just like Ethereum, when you start talking in 1, 2, 3 ETHs and you forget, man, you can lose a lot of money because you're forgetting that, hey, that's not one, that's 3,500 or whatever it is at the time US dollars. And I think it really helps us folks that aren't these mathematical geniuses to go, oh, wait a minute, that's that I can relate to that.
Kind of tether it to...
But it also makes all the trading easy. I mean, but I mean, in my mindset, it's a different thing.
There's something about that.
But what's this?
I have a feeling that this is an understatement. It says it could be lucrative for the asset managers.
Circle.
I have a feeling, I mean, if you got BlackRock jumping into this, and I don't know, to me it seems like they're going to ensure that it's a good and worthy investment.
And it is going to be.
This could be big. Circle, which is valued at $9 billion and in February announced its plans to go public, has projected $438 million in revenue from stablecoin reserves for this year, and $2.2 billion in 2023. That is a lot of money.
So I think real quick too, Circle is they are one of the biggest crypto conglomerates. They got their hands in almost everything. They are backed. They've had deals with Coinbase. They've had deals with all sorts of news outlets. They're really big into crypto. They're kind of like the BlackRock of crypto. BlackRock has the most assets under management, I think, worldwide. They're massive. And so they're kind of partnering together in the crypto world. And I think the way that they're making money is they make money off of like trading fees. So if somebody's trading in and out of these currencies, there's a little fee that goes to whoever's holding those tokens. And just to kind of make that note is, if you have an exchange, you can get like 8% easily on any exchange, 8% APY just by staking a stablecoin. And so if they're willing to pay out customers that much, obviously the person on the back end is making a lot more than that. And so there's probably a ton of money to be made year after year from doing something like this.
It's interesting to see from my perspective. This is the infrastructure beginning to take hold. NFTs are still, this is such a new space in crypto that I'm slowly, every one of these videos, it just feels like there's more and more foundation being built and how the infrastructure is going to be. And I don't know, for those that are skeptical of this being a big player in the future, I just got to say, you got to keep looking at what these major companies are doing to make sure that there is a future here. They've got billions of dollars in this. It's really interesting. Yeah,
BlackRock bought all the junk bonds from the U.S. during the pandemic stuff and the all the money printing that they did. To stabilize how much they were printing. And so BlackRock is like literally weaved into a ton of stuff that we do. They account for a lot of the increase in the real estate market in the U.S. recently. So yeah, if they're involved in crypto and NFTs, or they're not necessarily involved in NFTs, but they're stabilizing crypto in general, and so is definitely not going away if the biggest player in the world is literally dipping $400 million into the fund.
So is this changing? Again, I said kind of in the beginning that we're all into decentralization and anonymity, being anonymous and all that good stuff. Is this is saying that those days are gone? That's going to the wayside? I mean, what are we saying here?
It still seems like the Wild West to me, but I think it's inevitable.
Is this a sheriff coming into town?
It might be, but
sort of.
I think there's inevitably going to be more structure, obviously, that's being developed.
If money's made, people are going to start making rules.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
That's the beautiful thing, though, is a lot of the applications that are built on Web3 stuff, on Solidity and whatnot, they're decentralized, and so the application runs regardless of who's there. And so the whole crypto community and even NFT community, a lot of them fight all the time for decentralization. They want their apps to be decentralized. If anybody comes out in the market and it's like, oh, that's not decentralized, and a lot of people push like, hey, you should decentralize your platform because it's super important to a lot of people. So there are a lot of people fighting for it. It just depends on what side of the fence you're going to jump on, whether you're going to have everything controlled by the money that you make, or you're going to have decentralization. Yeah. So it is a big battle right now, and I think a lot of people should move towards that decentralization. Otherwise, you give the government more control if the money is instantly tracked and all of your transactions are instantly figured out.
Do you think there's going to be a kind of a separation where one side's going this way and there still be this other track of anonymous and decentralization? Do you think that's going to fork? And
I suspect there are going to be people that, to them, all of this kind of stuff is going to make them feel more comfortable about crypto.
True.
And so you're going to get more people that are
going to be a lot easier for onboarding the masses.
And so it'll be helpful. But this is just one currency that we're talking about at the moment. So
right. Out of the thousands.
Right.
Yeah.
Super interesting, though.
Yeah. Cool.
Let us know what you think, though, in the comments. You're the experts, after all. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
We're just a bunch of hacks.
We don't know what we're doing. We have no idea. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video.
Darian's like, what are you talking about, man? I'm not a hack.
Give me some credibility.
Goodbye.